Hello, I'm Representative Heather Scott from District 1 in North Idaho, and I'm sure you've been hearing a lot about the administrative rules and regulations. So I've been getting a lot of calls, and I wanted to do a quick video and explain to you what's happening in Idaho right now and what a big opportunity it is for citizens to actually get involved and make changes in their government. So I'm going to go back a little bit and talk from the basics. So here's a simple chart. I know you can't see it. I'll try to post it underneath this video. The people of Idaho are at the top, and that's because all power is in the people. And you kind of need to remember this as we go through what the administrative rules are. And I don't think most citizens realize how much power you have in government and how much influence you have on your government. So underneath the people of Idaho, we have the legislative branch, which you know as the House and the Senate, who write bills. We have the judicial branch, and people that have been to court understand that one. And then we have the executive branch. But what I think a lot of people don't understand is under this executive branch, it's not like the governor's up here and everybody's below him. Everyone is equal under this executive branch. They're all elected officials. So you have the lieutenant governor, the secretary of state, the attorney general, the governor, the state controller, treasurer, and superintendent of public education. Those are all elected officials that if you don't like the direction of our state, you can vote those people in and out. Now, they do all work together under the executive department, but they are separate elected officials. The big thing we want to talk about today is what happens underneath that. And if you get my newsletters, you probably hear a lot about the administrative rules and regulations. And I think what's so scary is this is the deep state. This is the bureaucrats that basically run government in most states, and our state included. So under the Constitution, there's only so many departments that we can set up, or the executive branch can set up. So you'll recognize these: Department of Health and Welfare, Department of Fish and Game, Idaho State Tax Commission, Department of Transportation. So some of those are very familiar. There's several of them: Department of Lands, Department of Labor, Environmental Quality, Department of Commerce. What's a little known fact is underneath of each of these branches, there's sub-branches and sub-branches and all of these other agencies. And so I looked up online, and there are 189 administrative agencies. And these all fall underneath one of the main agencies, but we have, we have the Acupuncture Board, we have the Athletic Commission, the Barley Commission, the Children's Trust Fund, College of Eastern Idaho, College of Southern Idaho, the Criminal Justice Commission, the Drug Policy Office, the Engineers and Land Surveys Professional Board, Fish and Game Department. We have all the health districts. We have the Human Rights Commission, Humanities Council, Water Adjudication, 189 of these, insurance, labor. I'm going to post this underneath so you can see a list. Public television, they're one of the divisions. We'll get into that later. The Racing Commission, the sexual offenders. I get a lot of calls on paroles. The paroles division is under here. The Tax Commission. So I guess under the executive branch, under the bureaucrats, it's not only these 20 main departments or departments, but it's also departments and councils and commissions, and there's a ton of them. So what that is prepping for is what these guys do is they write administrative rules. And if you get my newsletters, you know what administrative rules are. They basically are every way that government happens. It's the rules you follow on the roads. Whether your loads have a red flag or an orange flag, they're every single part of government. They're what the DEQ monitors in your sewage or your water pollution. So they write administrative rules, and there are actually 8,200 pages of administrative rules. And that's basically what you're dealing with. You know, Common Core was made through an administrative rule. That's how that came into our state. It's not like your legislators are passing, we want to pass Common Core. These are ideas coming top down through the executive branch, and they're being pushed out by bureaucrats through the administrative rules. Why that's so important is every year the Idaho legislature has a little bit of control over those rules. During the summer, there's some tweaks to language, and they want to change things or add fees or do this or that. Those have to be run through the legislature for the first 3 weeks, and we approve or disapprove those rules. So the way it's set up is only one body has to approve the rules. So let's just say Common Core Science comes to administrative rule, and the House chamber does not like it, and we reject it. Well, the executive branch just takes it to the Senate, and the Senate approves it, and then it goes straight through, because it only needs one body to approve that administrative rule. Why that's important is because this year the House said, we want both bodies, because as the Senate gets more and more liberal, we said we want both bodies to have to approve these rules. These rules have the full force of law. And the Senate had a problem with that, so the House had a little plan. Every year, all 8,200 pages of these administrative rules, they're only good for 1 year. So these 8,200 pages, every year we say, okay, we allow the executive branch to run all these agency rules from July 1st of this year to July 1st of next year. And that's called the Going Home Bill. And every year the legislature, approves it, and that means all 8,200 pages written as is accepted. This year, we, the House, tried to add an amendment to that bill. And that amendment said, okay, we're going to let the 8,200 pages go through, but from now on, the little changes, we want both chambers to approve it, the House and the Senate, not just the Senate. And I'll give you an example. Idaho administrators, Health and Welfare Department, passed a rule last summer that said we can change birth certificates. If you're transgender and you want to change the sex on your birth certificate, then you can change it. Just go ahead and let us know and we'll change it for you. And there'll be no record of the change. So that was an administrative rule that the Health and Welfare came up with on their own. They said they were forced to by the courts, whatever. That never was approved by the House or the Senate. That's the other thing about these rules, is if the chairman never hear it, then it automatically goes through if we don't reject it. So this is a big deal. So we're taking legal documents and allowing them to be changed. We should have the discussion at minimum. This is part of our frustration on why we said, no, both chambers have to approve it. Okay, I'm babbling a lot, but there's a lot to this. What I want to talk about is these 8,200 pages of rules. This year, we did not pass this bill. We had a fight with the Senate and said, we're not going to pass this bill as is unless you put our amendment on it. So this has never happened before. And the executive branch has all these agencies. And these 109 agencies, this is how they run. This is their life. This is what happens if they have no administrative rules. They won't know what to do. They'd have to start from scratch. So what's happening this year that's unlike any other year in Idaho is all 8,200 pages of rules are going to be reproposed as what do they call them? Temporary and proposed rules. Now, the media is saying these are temporary pending, but if you've listened to my stuff before, don't believe the media. It's fake news. They want to sell news. They make stuff up. They've made stuff up about me before, but I digress. So they're temporary proposed. Now, what that means is these 8,200 pages of rules, all the stuff you have to deal with when I get the calls or other legislators get the calls that, health and welfare did this, or they're cutting my benefits here, or I'm not getting my unemployment, or they're making me pay back my unemployment, or they're teaching my kids how to masturbate in school. All this is coming through the administrative rules. This is your opportunity as a citizen. Idaho is one of 2 states that allows, they call these rules negotiated. Now, normally you would not have the opportunity to review all 8,200 pages of rules. And don't fret, because nobody is going to read all 8,200 pages of rules. But it is the opportunity for you to search the 8,200 pages, and there'll be a table of contents, and so you can look for the issue that's bugging you, whatever that issue is. And there will be, let's just say it's transportation. You're tired of some law on the roads, or something transportation is doing to you. This is your opportunity to actually send in a comment, and they will take that into consideration, because these are just temporary proposed. Proposed means that they have to negotiate with the citizens. That is one benefit of living in Idaho, and if citizens don't realize how much power they have and how much opportunity they have, we are going to lose this opportunity. Idaho is one of the most conservative states, and in my opinion, it's not that conservative. And I can give you reason after reason, and gas tax, Medicaid expansion, transgender birth certificates, going against our Constitution when it comes to definitions of marriage. We still kill babies. There's all kinds of things in our state. So don't think Idaho's conservative, and don't think you can't make a difference. This is your opportunity. I will be putting out another video on the next steps. All these rules, 8,200 pages, are going to be resubmitted to the public for review on June, the first week of June, the first Wednesday of June. And when that happens, that's when I'm counting on you to actually help. You can't call your legislators. Your legislators, the negotiated rules are between you, the citizen, the people of Idaho, and your government. And so this is your opportunity to engage in the executive branch and really make a difference and change the direction of some of the government that you're not happy with. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of long. I'm going to be putting out some more videos to make sure you understand your opportunity. And keep in touch. And if you don't get my newsletter, you can go to the legislative site and sign up for it. And you just have to search through the House members, find my name, and sign up for my newsletter. And I will try to get you this information coming soon. So thanks for watching the video, and please share it if you know anyone that's frustrated with government anywhere in Idaho. Thank you.